3, 2.
So let's be honest. If tomorrow you found out and you could verify, right, without an ounce of a doubt, that aliens exist. Yeah, you heard that right. Yeah, we're gonna get a little wacky, as some people might feel about this subject. But back to the subject. If you actually heard from the government or whoever you trust, whatever source of information you trust, and they tell you, hey, listen, aliens, 100% real. No doubt, no BS, no fluff. Would you have known that they have been around? I mean, if they were to tell you, you know what, we've been hiding them from you, you know, and when I'm referring, you know, we have been hiding, I mean like the government or something, right? How long, right? Would be one of the questions. How long? How long have you guys known about this? Hypothetically, they say 20 years, 30 years. Again, the question is, would you know right now if an alien lived next door? And you got to stop it. I'm not talking about Jose, okay? Stop. We don't call them anymore, according to Biden. Just a joke. Don't cancel me. Ha ha ha. No, seriously. What do you know? Right? No, the answer rather to that question is no. If anything was flying over your head, right? Other than what you already know that's out there, obviously, fighter jets and, regular commercial aircrafts. Other than that, you wouldn't know, right? Now, check this out. Bombshell UFO report. The U.S. military encounters UFOs, quote, every day. That far exceeds its tech capabilities. According to this article from the Daily Wire, an explosive report featured on CBS News 60 Minutes featured several former U.S. military officials who have talked about what the U.S. government knows about unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, more commonly referred to as UFOs. So the government, as always, are changing their lingo, in my opinion, to kind of like, be a little, evasive about the whole topic.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to get rid of the bad press from the term UFO. Because when you think UFO, you think tinfoil hat, right?
Exactly.
Most of the time.
Exactly. So make it sound more formal, right? By calling it unidentified aerial phenomena. So, which, you gotta have to ask as well, right? Are they just replacing the flying with aerial? Or is it because we have a different definition of what we believe to be flying? Right? And that is something that you have to be very granular when you're looking at all this information that's coming out. Again, we identify something that flies as something that usually has like wings. Again, the traditional sense, right? Can take off. But if something is an aerial phenomena, and it's really not flying, it's really just there, right? How they say some of those reports that we're going to read on here, they say that these things go, right? They kind of just zigzag. So they're an aerial phenomena. So supposedly that's part of the reason they changed the lingo there, which is very interesting. So a little bit more, it says that the segment comes ahead of a report that the military is supposed to deliver an unclassified report to Congress by next month. Former Director of National Security Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, said in a recent interview that the findings will shock people because, quote, frankly, there are a lot of more sightings than have been made public. So we're going to also touch real quick on what someone like Elon Musk, who you would think may know a little bit more about this since he does have a whole bunch of satellites in space, and why I think that, in my opinion, either the guy is hiding more than he led on us to believe, or it's just a rich idiot. But we'll get into that. All right, so this next article is actually directly from the 60 Minutes. We're gonna watch a little bit of that clip because I don't want us to get dinged by 60 Minutes or by YouTube. But there right at the beginning a couple things that I want to highlight, and something very important that the guy that we're interviewing said. So again, in this article here, for those of you guys listening on the podcast, it reads, UFOs regularly spotted in restricted U.S. airspace, report on the phenomena due next month. Bill Whittaker reports on the regular sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, that have spurred a report due to Congress next month. Okay, so that's the headline. And let's go a little down here on this same article. Come on. There's my mouse. Okay, so let's watch this real quick.
We have tackled many strange stories on 60 Minutes, but perhaps none like this. It's the story of the U.S. government's grudging acknowledgement of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, more commonly known as UFOs. After decades of public denial, the Pentagon now admits there's something out there, and the U.S. Senate wants to know what it is. The Intelligence Committee has ordered the Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense to deliver a report on the mysterious sightings by next month.
The story will continue in a moment.
So what you're telling me is that UFOs, unidentified flying objects, are real.
Bill, I think we're beyond that already. The government has already stated for the record that they're real. I'm not telling you that. The United States government is telling you that.
Luis Elizondo spent 20 years running military intelligence operations worldwide in Afghanistan, the Middle East, and Guantanamo. He hadn't given UFOs a second thought until 2008. That's when he was asked to join something at the Pentagon called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or ATIP.
The mission of ATIP was quite simple. It was to collect and analyze information involving anomalous aerial vehicles. What I guess in the vernacular you call them UFOs. We call them UAPs.
Well, so it won't let me.
It sounds nutty,
pause the video, but you caught on to what he said there, right? Which is very, or at least for me, is of significance, right? And by the way, here in the background, you can see some of that footage that they've captured, or the U.S. government has captured, right? Of these UFOs or UAPs. And, he said something interesting to me. And that is, hey, I'm not telling you. So which includes us here on the JTH show. We're not telling you that these things exist. The government is, right? Usually, in years past, you always had people, like you said, that kind of like to make fun of those people with the tin hats and saying, dude, if they were real, don't you think the government would have told us already? You never heard that, right? And yeah, here, of course, yeah. Right? And now you have someone here saying something very true, which again might have just gone over your head. Us ordinary Joes are not telling you that. The government is telling you that they don't know what some of these UFOs or UAPs are. They have no idea. It's important, in my opinion, because I do believe, okay, I'll leave it here now, that these things do exist. Do I believe that every single sighting hasn't been a deep, secretive government program from any country? No, I actually believe that some of them might have been, whether it be from China or Russia, right, which are super world powers, or even here in the United States, which we have known because of other missions, other leaked information, that not everybody in the government obviously is at the same level, right? So you have top officials that know a lot more than the pawns, right? I don't want to be discriminatory here, but that's what a lot of soldiers, that's what they're treated as, right? And they're not told what top officials know. So what I think is that some of these sightings potentially could be, right, if they ever were be unclassified, as, hey, you know what? This is actually our tech. We just couldn't tell you guys because we didn't want the world to know. However, on the other hand, I do believe that some of these will be as described, unidentified aerial phenomena, right? That they're out there, and I will say that it's very arrogant for any of us to think, right, that we're so special and we are, I don't know, beyond anything that exists out there in the universe. If in fact, right, and we're going to put aside for right now flat earthers. We're going to put aside people that believe that this is the Matrix, that we're in some kind of like simulation. We're going to put all that to the side, okay? Well, that's for another day. Right now, I think it's very arrogant, and you tell me, Josh, if you agree, for any of us to think that if allegedly, according to science, we live in this just infinite, never-ending space, right, this universe, that us, the humankind, the human being, is the only thing out there. And this, you know, is like saying in the sand, right, or even in the entire world, by the way, right, just the entire world, there's only one type of ant. Yes, we are the ant, right? For an ant, if they somehow could talk and we can understand them, an ant, for instance, in the UK, in one of those, you know, pebble beaches that exist out there, say, there's nothing out there. There's nothing out there anymore. We are the only ant. Right? Do you get where I'm going with this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it happens to like people anyway in like small towns, right? They're like, they never really grow out of that small town, and they're just like, you know, there's nothing worth seeing out there. I've left here like a couple of times, and yeah, that was it. I don't need to see the rest of the world. I'm quite happy living in ignorance.
Right. There's nothing better out there.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, there's nothing better out there. We've discovered everything. Okay?
Yeah. We have the best of everything here in this town. Yep. Right? Exactly. We have the best medicine. We have the best everything. And in a way, at least in my opinion, because I don't know everybody in the world, right? Here in the U.S., we have some of the best, and this is a little bit of an oxymoron, some of the best arrogance, right? Here in the United States, when it comes to the people that think that we are above not only every country in the world, but we are in the entire galaxy the best that'll ever exist. Do I believe the U.S. is a fantastic, you know, first world country? Absolutely. Are we the best and there's nothing better than us? No. That, again, to me, arrogance, right? But I think a lot of the times it comes all across like that, right? And it comes across and people like this fine gentleman here. I praise Elon Musk for a lot of things he has done, or he has at least attempted to do for humanity, right? Pushing us into space when NASA, if we're going to be honest here, when NASA, or at least the people in charge, I'm not saying the people that work in NASA, but a lot of people that, you know, pull the strings had basically kind of let that whole department kind of just slowly die. And then you have here a private party has come along and put a lot of his own money, right? And pushed for us to explore space. And, you know, I got to credit, I do, at least personally, I give him credit for that. I'm not saying he's the only one. I'm sure there's a lot of brilliant minds that work alongside him, but I'm just saying, right, as a representative of that community, he pushes. He's done things like Starlink, which is trying to give internet to remote areas. When you have governments that don't really give an F and that haven't done hardly anything for areas that are remote, right? You have the whole Neuralink that he has, that he wants to have, supposedly. You can go on with the conspiracies of he's going to put a little chip in you and control you. But that aside, his mission with that company is to allow people that have lost movement in their limbs to recuperate that somehow, right? Connect, you know, those neurons again, or whatever, however the brain works, right? So that they can fire. Okay. Oh, by the way, obviously, everybody, if you guys don't know him for all that, you obviously at least know him for Tesla, right? Trying to really put solar at the forefront, right? Among only a few companies that have tried to do that. So again, in all those things that I just mentioned, I'll give him credit. But then comes in this comment you're about to hear right now, right? This is from the Joe Rogan show. This happened actually a couple of months ago. Actually, I'm lying to you, February, so a few months ago. And, you know, in my opinion, again, I am of the mindset that intelligent life exists out there. Okay. Do I think it's going to be in the same image as us? No. And I understand, side note, why a lot of people, specifically people that hold religion dearly to their hearts, right, would probably accuse me of blasphemy and how dare you and question our God. And listen, I am a God believer. I know it's crazy because a lot of people are like, wait a minute, but you just said, I know what I said, you know, because I'm not one-sided, because I'm not a person that thinks that everything that I think is correct. I am my own man. I am my own human being. Part of my brain wants to hold on to the fact that God exists. It makes me, I don't know, it helps me sleep at night. Put it that way. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's how I feel. Now, the other side of my brain says, well, okay, once I put my feelings aside, and let's be honest, religion is just a bucket of feelings, most of it, right? Once I put those feelings aside, we have science, facts, things that you can prove. And bacteria is everywhere. Isn't that what they say? Bacteria is everywhere. So why wouldn't bacteria live in other planets? Even if, again, if it's not an intelligent being in our image, or as some people believe, in God's image, why wouldn't, some type of bacteria to a certain extent of its own intelligence live in other planets? And why wouldn't that bacteria evolve, right? Now, just because you and I, Josh, and most people, I would say listening to this and watching this, has never seen an actual alien, if you have, please reach out. I would love to talk to you. Bring receipts. But okay, so it's because we haven't seen it. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, in my opinion. I have never seen your homeland, Josh. Never. Wherever you were born. Does it mean it doesn't exist? I don't know that you have ever seen Texas or been to El Paso.
Nope.
Does it mean that I live in a floating device that I call El Paso? No, it exists, right? Okay, you get my point. Sarcasm. Now, this individual here, again, I have two mindsets. Either he's hiding something because that's one of the conditions for him to, play with their toys at, in space and in NASA, or he's just arrogant beyond, his money has made him, arrogant beyond belief. But you judge for yourself. This is what he said. I'll play a little bit of the clip so we don't get claimed. Again, back in February.
So, and I want to be clear, like, to the best of my knowledge, there is no evidence for alien life on Earth. There's no evidence for alien life. There's no direct evidence for alien life. No, and if somebody says, "Oh, what about this alien sighting or whatever?" I'm like, listen, it's got to be at least as good as a 7-Eleven or ATM cam. Okay, it's like,
hold on, pause right there. Yes, with that specific highlight, there's more. I want you guys to hear more about this. With that specific sentence he just said, I will highlight that is true. That it irritates me too. That almost all the footage we have out there, until this report that will be unclassified comes out, as you just heard right now, right? With more sightings, until that comes out, and if that new report has better quality pictures, I agree with what he's saying. Why does everything look like it was taken either on purpose like this or with the most grainy camera?
Exactly.
Right?
It's like, holy crap, there's a ghost. Whip out the 32 meg camera quickly.
Yeah. It's like, anybody have a 1992 cell phone, that took those pictures that you have to literally, you never had those, by the way? It just sparked a memory.
Of course, yeah.
You took a picture and you're like, don't move.
Sony Ericsson or something like that.
Yeah. You just had to smile like an idiot, like for at least solid 15 seconds. Yeah.
Right.
And then you moved a little bit and went click. You're like, damn it. Why? All right, let's do it. Everybody come back again. Smile. And just like, you're talking the whole time. Did it take it? No, just keep smiling. Oh, no, not yet. Click.
Sure.
Okay, done. You had to turn the phone around. It was ridiculous, man. It was funny. But he's right. In that aspect, he's right. All right, let's move on to what else he said.
If somebody's got at least like an iPhone 1 level camera, like something,
The problem with that is it's just too easy to fake things today, too.
Yeah, sure. They should at least try hard in faking it.
Are you familiar with Commander David Fravor's account of the Tic Tac UFO that he encountered off of the coast of San Diego? Lex Friedman?
Yeah.
Lex Friedman interviewed him on his podcast, and I interviewed him as well. And if you ever get a chance to listen to Lex's conversation with him, it's really excellent. But this guy is a naval fighter pilot, and he talked about this thing that they tracked on radar that went from more than 60,000 feet above sea level to 1 foot in less than a second, shaped like a Tic Tac, no visible sign of propulsion, blocked radar, actively jammed their tracking systems, and then went to their predetermined point that they were supposed to, that the fighter jet was supposed to scramble to, went to it 30 miles away in, a couple seconds. Like they have no idea how it did it. They don't know what it is.
Okay.
And these guys that were working for the Navy off the coast said they had encountered them several times. They didn't know what they were. They didn't know what to do.
What did they have?
They
Like
just did
photo or
nothing.
something? I mean,
They do. They have video of it.
So notice how in that same clip there, Elon, at least in my opinion, I don't know, his face, it looks like his ego has been hurt. I don't know if he believes in his mind that he should have all this technology or that he should know about it. But to me, it seems like he's annoyed. He's like, right, you have a picture?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude. And, and Joe's like, yeah, they have a video and everything. Just watch his face.
okay.
They have video of it. They have, there's, you ever see the New York Times article that came out in 2017 about this stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah, there was a New York Times article in 2017 that was detailing this, and there's a couple other different sightings that were very similar. They were trying to figure out what these things were and why, and it was also in the COVID relief package that the CIA was supposed to release. Yeah, the politicians are trying to figure out what all this shit is, and so they tried to get them to release all the information they have within 180 days.
Honestly, I think I would know if there were aliens.
I would hope so. That's why I'm asking you.
No, I'd be jumping on that. Like,
You should watch that conversation with Lex. It's
Sure.
like, here's the thing. Do you
see it? Sure.
Yeah.
I'm rich, man. I wouldn't know. You literally hear him say, I think I would know. It's like, come on, man. First of all, let's also consider this. If aliens did exist, you think Elon would be smarter than them? If Elon is smarter than aliens, we're screwed. Because Elon, as much as he has done for the world, like I just gave him credit, the man hasn't, found a cure for cancer or even AIDS. So, like, just calm your nuts there for a little bit, buddy, okay? Like, yes, you gave us the Tesla and some stuff in space, but don't act like you've cured cancer or something, right? Or world hunger. Right. Like, chill out. But he's like, yeah, I mean, sure. I would know. It's like, dude, chill out. All right, there's like 10 more seconds, or about 10 more seconds of something else he says.
Do you think that they would want us to know? Or do you think they would just be observing and making sure we don't blow ourselves up? Would
I don't know,
if
man.
you were
They're
an
real
alien civilization?
They sure are subtle. I mean, if they wanted us to know, obviously they could just,
for sure,
show up and walk down Main Street,
Right.
like, hey, I'm an alien, check me out,
There. That's what I wanted you guys to hear. Right. And that proves why, Elon Musk is not smarter than aliens, because he's a human. He's a human being. And his arrogance just came out. That human being arrogance came out because that's probably what Elon would do. Hypothetically, if there was aliens on Mars, we just heard that Elon's first reaction would be, I'm gonna land in there, whatever he said, what did he say right now? Whatever the Main Street or whatever.
Like on Main Street or something like that.
That's what Elon would do, right? That's the mentality he has. That he would land on Main Street and just like, whip it out and be like, I'm here. Yeah, dude. And that's why human beings have multiple times already, right, throughout history, annihilated themselves, right? We have had towns completely wiped because that's the mentality we have had for centuries. We're going to go, and when we ever discover a little civilization, we're going to, like he said, we're going to go on their Main Street, whip it out, and be like, yeah, I'm here. Ha, ha, ha. Obviously, if these individuals are intelligent, hopefully more intelligent than us, they're not going to just, hello, we're here. We come in peace. Like, dude, stop watching Steven Spielberg movies. Like, in my opinion, right? Because this is the last video that I have on this topic. My last remarks on this is that they do exist. If they were going to get, or if they were, here on Earth, they have been here for a long time. They know better than we do as far as how to behave themselves, clearly. And they're here purely as scientists. They're not here as war leaders. They're not here as politicians. I think that they are beyond that. I think the need for them to police, right, like we do, right? Again, the human things that it naturally comes to us. They are beyond that. I think the only thing that we'll have that's going to be similar to an intelligent being that's not from Earth is that we are curious and we hopefully share the fact that we enjoy the love for science. At least some of us do. And I think that's the only thing that they're here for, is to absorb. And what do you do when you have an anthill in your home, or not an anthill, but I'm sorry, like one of those ant farms, I should say, right? Or when you have anything, you have a garden, you plant, you see, you sow, you take care, and you absorb, right? And you only pluck and take whenever you need. And if anything, that's probably what they have been doing. So when it comes to like all these rumors of like people being taken or just wake up one day in some random moon they weren't, I think all that potentially is true, right? Because I think, again, if they're doing anything here, it's because they're scientists, because they know that when it comes to war, they're beyond that, right? They know that they probably have the capability to extinct us if they needed to, but they don't want to. Right. So that's the way I feel about it, and I look forward to this report being released. But what's your take on this?
No, it's kind of interesting. I probably had to say something kind of similar. Like you said, it's like probably they're not going to observe planet Earth because of the same reasons a human would. Because a lot of humans, we get wrapped up in other things that don't matter so much, like emotions, the glory of it, that will I be remembered for this, that kind of thing. I guess they're probably looking at us maybe egolessly and seeing how much of a threat we can be to planets around us, and maybe even to them, to see how bad things can get, Let's see how the pink squishy guys are getting on planet Earth, They kind of just watch us. You know what I think? They probably just get close enough to connect to Wi-Fi or like Skylink or whatever. They check out, let's see what's happening. The highlights, YouTube, TikTok, and they're like, oh my God.
Oh, they're still fighting over color.
Gorilla glue in the hair? Are you kidding?
Yeah. We have let them, gone off enough. But listen, I think you said something very important right now, and I want to say before I forget, they're not looking for the celebrity status, kind of like you said right now. I think that's also very, very true, right? In addition to what I said, I think that pretty much sums it up really well, that they're not looking for you to make them go viral, for you to take a picture with them like there's some kind of celebrity. They're not looking for them, for you to want their autograph or something like that, right? Or for you to even know them by name, right? A lot of the things that I believe we have as humans are going to be very unique to humans, right? Because we have evolved ourselves, and there's a lot of stuff that in today's world, we no longer hold precious of the yesterday, right? We just don't, right? And I think it wouldn't be any different to an intelligent being that comes here, right? Why the hell would they care for you to know their last name? Why would they have last names? You ever think about that? Why do we have last names, right? Why do we have social security numbers? Credit? You think because of what? Because of what? What is it that you think that we're going to be very similar to them, and they're flying in something that is beyond our comprehension, right? They don't care about our credit score. They don't care about our social security or our status or how many followers you have on TikTok or on Facebook or anywhere for that matter, right? So again, you're right. You're so right. It kind of just dawned on me what you said. Why the hell would they care for you to recognize them as anything other than a superior being? That's it.
No, right? Exactly, because it's all a social construct that we've made up anyway from what is assumedly nothing, or at least somewhat based on the church,
right,
in one way or another, or
right.
some type of religion.
Yeah, I mean, we really don't care at the end of the day if our dog knows how many followers we have, right? Because we see it as a intelligent being, but we're superior to our pets, right? Whatever you have, a cat, a dog, a pig, I don't care. You don't sit there and be like, oh my God, look at Rufus. You see that? I'm more famous than you, Rufus. No, or for that matter, take it even at a farther scale. You don't go to an ant outside and say, you see this right here, ant? I am superior than you. I have 2 million followers. The ant would just don't even know. And that's how we would be, right? If they came down and got in front of us, what are you going to really say? What are you going to ask? You're going to ask human-related questions. Are we alone? They're going to look at you like, really? You're still asking that? No wonder you're does God exist? Okay, next question. What can you ask? nothing. Nothing that's not human related.
What would you ask?
Yeah, I mean, what you are, but they explain to us what we understand, right? If they were in a human form, right, like in our form. If they were like, I'm not sure if you saw that one movie with, God, what's her name? Encounter, I think it's called. The one where like it looks like it's like the alien in that movie looks like just like not a ghost, like energy. It's that one actress that came out, Amy something, that came out in the Superman movie as Lois. You didn't see that one?
I know which one you're talking
Maybe I'm mistaken if I think it's maybe it's something else. But either way,
or something, or
I
don't know,
that one, right? Something like that. But it's very interesting that I think it's one of the first movies that has shown as an alien that doesn't look like the Independence Day alien or like the actual movie Aliens. It looks like energy. So then if we ask them, what are you? And they try to explain it to you. What will your brain make of that? Like you oh, interesting. You would probably pull like a Joey from Friends and be like, I know what that means. No, you don't. No, I don't. I have no idea I have no idea where this is going. Anyways, so that was that's that little piece of aliens. Now in more earthly news, like
and subscribe.
Oh yeah, subscribe. That's more important than what we're about to get into, by the way. Please subscribe, and please make sure you leave us a comment with what you think about these beings that are going to be released hopefully next month. But in other more earthly news, okay, Target, Walmart, Costco among stores lifting mask requirements. So I know some people will think that I'm mean because of what I'm about to say, but I cannot wait for all the Karen videos that are going to come out. All right. And I don't care what side of this you are on. You're going to be a Karen if you end up in a video yelling at someone. I don't care if you're on for a mask or you're against masks. But okay. In this article, it says that a number of retail stores are lifting the requirements that all customers and employees need to wear a mask inside the stores. This follows the CDC update mask recommendations that fully vaccinated people can stop wearing masks inside in most places. The new guidance still calls for wearing masks in crowded indoor settings like hospitals, buses, planes, prisons, and homeless shelters. Stores revising their mask requirements include Target, Walmart, and Costco, which at least here in the US, they're massive. I mean, these are some of every town, every major city has these stores, right? According to Target's statement, those who have been vaccinated, and here, this is a key to listen, are recommended to still wear a mask. So again, those who have been vaccinated are recommended to still wear a mask. Now, why do I say that's key? Because how the hell are you going to prove this without being essentially exactly what most people argue against? Without being a Karen, show me your vaccination card. Show me this passport you're going to, have in your phone, which we talked about this in a previous episode. The article, before we move on, ends with saying that the stores implementing mask requirements more than a year ago. So it has been, God, it feels, a year ago. It just feels like forever. Yeah. Starbucks is also making face masks optional for vaccinated customers starting Monday. So, all that said, yeah, some, according to this article, aren't ready to give up the masks despite new CDC guidance. Of course, as soon as you have a couple websites releasing the articles that we just read, you have websites like this one, right? Where it says like more than 120 million other Americans, Jan Massey is fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and can pretty much give up wearing a mask under the latest guidance from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. But she's still covering her face, even as temperatures rises in her native Alabama. Because of benefits she says are too great to give up. The retired educator didn't catch the illness caused by the new coronavirus, and she also didn't get the flu or her yearly cold while masked during the pandemic. Unlike some, she's gotten, I know exactly. She's not gotten any hostiles blowbacks in public for wearing a mask. So why quit now? She's not the only one. Okay. This other article, they're vaccinated and keeping their masks, maybe forever. Face coverings have been a political flashpoint for more than a year, but now the backlash is directed at people who don't plan to take them off. According to this different article, whenever Joe Glickman heads out for groceries, he places an N95 mask over his face and tugs a cloth mask on top of it. Jesus Christ, sir, how are you breathing? Then he pulls on a pair of goggles. So this goes on to say that essentially this man plans to wear this whole attire that I just talked about, right? His whole Darth Vader attire for at least 5 years, the next 5 years. Now listen, jokes aside, I don't care if either of these two individuals, right? What is it, Joe or the other lady, Jan, wears her mask, right? And they go out. It sounds like to me like they're older individuals. She's a retired teacher, and this man doesn't look all that young. So hey, listen, that makes you feel more comfortable. Go on, do you, right? Do I believe that is the case for everyone? No. Do I believe that this justifies California's excuse, like we see in this article? California to keep mask mandate in place until June reopening, despite CDC update. It is happening in San Diego. California will not lift its face covering mandate until after its planned June reporting of the economy. Reopening of the economy. According to California Health and Human Services Secretary Mark Galley, the state will keep its mandate in place despite the move by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention to change its mask guidance for those who are fully vaccinated. So again, this article coming out of San Diego, California, Channel 10, saying, hey, California, even though the CDC says don't worry about it, they're going to do it until June. So what is this going to do when you have stores, big stores, retail stores, right, that are saying we're not going to require them, right? This is where you create conflict with people, right? Because you do have a lot of those stores saying you don't have to wear it in our stores. But then you're going to have those Karen police who are going to be walking around just waiting to find someone that will argue and yell, right? Literally, well, California, the governor said this, the governor said that, right? And what is California basing, I don't know, like their science? I guess they have different science on. When you have articles like this one, Texas reports 0 COVID deaths in 2 months after whatever Biden slams and quote says Neanderthal thinking. So before we move on to our final remarks, in this article, it says that Texas reported 0 deaths from COVID-19 on Sunday, just 2 months after Governor Greg Abbott drew heat from the White House for rolling back business restrictions and lifting the state's mask mandate. It marked the first time the Lone Star State reported no coronavirus deaths in about 14 months. By the way, just so you guys know, I have the TV way over there and I'm reading as far as I can and I wear freaking contacts. So excuse me. I do know how to read, but I'm trying to read as fast as I can and it's way over there. Anyways, according to the state's health data, Abbott said that the case numbers reported on Sunday were 388. Were the lowest in more than 13 months, while the number of hospitalizations was the lowest in 11 months. So it is interesting, right? Because we're seeing different takes on here. And Josh, what fact did you find out about Texas while we were prepping?
I think Texas has one of the largest populations, if not the second largest population in the US. So it's not like Texas is just full of nothing. You got 3 or 4 very large cities there. So it's not like, oh, yeah, it's just countryside. It's not like Wyoming or something like that. I don't know. Or the middle of it's not like the Midwest where there's like one city and then fields and fields and fields and tornadoes. Texas is pretty well populated. So there's no excuse with this article, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So I personally feel that this is at least when comparing Texas and California. I moved out of California, as some of you guys know, some time back, and for a good reason. Because I actually can agree with most of what I just saw in a Caitlyn Jenner ad, right? Go watch it if you guys want to watch it. But essentially, what she says in that ad is that California has been plagued for some time now with so much regulation and taxes, which obviously is something that Texas doesn't have, right? Which is why so many people have relocated here, myself included, right? And it doesn't do California any favors. Again, when you have the CDC, when you have other states that have proven that that you can relax these mask mandates, but you as a state choose to act as a Karen, in my opinion, is when you start losing people, right? Again, in that same ad, Caitlyn Jenner goes on to say, hey, we have had a massive exodus of people just leaving California. And that's not a joke. That's not, nobody here is being hyperbolic about it. It's true. People are fleeing that state, at least those are able to, right? Because they're saying, you know what? Yeah, it's beautiful to live out here, weather, blah, 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 all the stuff that you hear. But enough with this regulation crap. California is choosing to be the Karen of all the states because it thinks it knows better than the CDC, right? It knows better than other states that, like Josh just said, I didn't know that, by the way, has just as much people, right? And says, even with science backing all this up, no, we're going to leave these until June, right? Personally speaking, even if you say, well, it's just a few weeks, Jonathan. I mean, May, June. Sure. But that just goes to prove the point that many people make that California always sits there in their high freaking horse thinking they know better. And then they put this pressure on their citizens and they divide them more. Right? Because I was just talking. I won't out the person I was talking to. But she was telling me that she got vaccinated, her and her husband and her whole family. And I posed a question, right? Which there was a lot of like, couldn't answer it. So you've been vaccinated, your whole family's vaccinated. You go to a gathering. Why are you wearing a mask? People in the gathering, they're friends and family. They've been vaccinated. Why are you wearing a mask? Why are you socially distancing? Why are you avoiding gatherings? Right? In my opinion. Right? And by the way, here's another one. You explain this one as well. I'm trying to make this one as this scenario as simple as possible. 5 fingers, 5 people, all vaccinated. This extra finger has not been vaccinated. You put it right here. Right? See that? Should anybody wear a mask? Should anybody social distance? I'm not talking about 1,000 people. I'm not talking about what's going on with my other fingers. Just right here. No, there's no need to. Should these fingers treat this finger different? No. Right? And a lot of people do that. A lot of people act like that. Right? Like, oh my God, don't invite anybody that hasn't been vaccinated. Don't talk to anybody because maybe they're not vaccinated. Then what is the effing point of your vaccine? Right? What is the point then? So if hypothetically, if my wife, myself and my kids, we never get vaccinated, Josh, ever.
Right.
Okay. But everybody in the state of Texas get vaccinated. Can we hang out? Right. And am I still going to be guilty by association?
I don't know. It's a tough one. It is a tough one because I guess the one thing that vaccines cannot beat new strains of the virus. For one thing, like there's a lot of talk about, what we reported, I think, was it a week or 2 ago, what happened in India with the new strain and that kind of thing. We don't know if the vaccine is actually going to take care of that as well. There's a lot of ifs and buts that I think it's quite simple, really. If it really using a mask makes you feel better or makes you feel safer or more hygienic, there's not a problem with that. I mean, I understand your point that you're saying that California is like, you know what? The rest of the country, they're going to be getting rid of masks. We're going to make it go a bit longer. I can understand why it seems a bit smart ass, particularly coming from California, of all places.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the only thing I could say that California's had that not all of the US, maybe New York actually, was it was hit really quite badly by the coronavirus, I think, wasn't it? It was hit really badly.
New York was, yeah.
New York, I can't think of another place that might have been hit as badly. So I guess maybe that might be a reason they've chosen to do it. But yeah, I mean, as far as using a mask goes, I mean, if those, like, for instance, those two people that we saw in the articles, if they feel like using a mask is keeping them safe, not only from coronavirus, but other illnesses that might show up.
Yeah, like the flu, the common flu and all that.
Coronavirus pretty much showed up.
Sure.
You know, like she said, she hasn't gotten ill. She hasn't gotten anything. It's like, oh, funny that.
That is true. I actually saw a report a few months back that said that with the flu season coming on, that they had actually seen a lot less people actually sick with the flu, and normally at the beginning of the season they start seeing that those numbers increase, and they were pretty much just either stagnant or actually in the decline. Obviously, more people are home, they're working remotely, less gatherings, yada 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 yada. But here's why I also believe. All right, I'll leave this at least as a final remark. I think that coronavirus aside, or this specific COVID-19 variant and all its variants to do with COVID-19, that aside, I actually think that it's healthy for most of us to get a little sick once in a while. We cannot ignore a science, right, that is not new, and that is that our immune system needs to learn, right, what is out there, get a little taste of it, so it doesn't become compromised all of a sudden, heavily compromised when you do, when a flu does get introduced. I mean, let's not forget what many people will never forget about, which is the Spanish flu, right? That killed so many indigenous people. And they're like, because they brought it over, blah, 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 blah. So in a way, right, because we live in a modern world where there's so much travel and just people want to go different places and you meet different people, it is good, in my opinion, to still get the cold once in a while. I know that there's a lot of people that are immunosuppressed, and this does not apply to them because anything can literally be deadly to them, or people with, again, suppressed immune systems because of maybe a different illness like cancer. But in, those cases aside, generally speaking, you and I, Josh, we should get the cold once in a while. It's not that bad. I know we get like the cold, the flu shot, but even some people don't believe in that. So, okay. So you're telling me you don't want to get the shot and you don't want to get the cold? Well, Jesus Christ, what do you think is going to become of you the day that, not if, but when you do, because of a boo-boo, of an accident, of some little oversight, you end up catching the flu? You're going to be, possibly, in the hospital, because you haven't had the flu in like 10 years. So that's my opinion, right? Is that I think the masks, like you said, are good for some people. But I think that for the vast majority of people, I do think that we should drop it. Again, for anybody getting all triggered already, for those people that just choose to wear because it makes them feel comfortable, wear them. For those people that have, again, a suppressed immune system, wear them. For those people that are elderly, wear them. But for the vast majority, an example, my family, we're relatively a young family. We're in our 30s, and my children, none of them are even teenagers. Well, except for one, actually. I'm 92, one of them. Still, we're a young family. Why the hell are we walking around with masks? When the vast majority of people have gotten vaccinated. I'm not particularly scared of a flu. Like I just said, I don't mind getting the flu. COVID and stuff like that, I'm going to get the shot eventually. And like I've said before, I didn't say I'm never going to get it. I'm going to get it. But I think until that day comes, I think I should be fine. And even you said something earlier, right? That if I were to get COVID, chances are I'll be fine.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
I think that's the point of the masks, right? It's like it's not really. I think that was the kind of the point that they were pushing across. It's not you that's going to affect. It's going to be other people more vulnerable that it's going to affect, right? Because you or I have very little to no contact with people who are more susceptible to getting, bad symptoms from COVID, right? So if I were to get COVID, which I'm pretty sure I've already had, I'm pretty sure maybe at the end of last year, I'm pretty sure that I got it. I self-isolated for 2 weeks.
Damn.
And honestly, it just felt like a cold. Right. If I had known nothing about the coronavirus, I probably would have said like, feeling a bit under the weather, just feeling a bit rough.
Cold.
That's it.
Interesting.
But that is not the same for everybody. It's not the same for everybody.
No, it's not.
And yeah, I mean, I agree with that sentiment that you say. Like on paper, you and your family, as a young family, if things are better and we can, if when finally the CDC pushes this through, that they can say like, okay, masks are optional now. I'm not gonna be there wagging my finger and saying, JT, you got to put that mask on.
JT.
No, I'm not. I mean, if it's been said by the CDC, it is okay not to use a mask, then take that as you will. Wear it or don't, but you don't have to force other people to wear it as well.
Exactly. Well said. Yep. And that's my point is as well. Hopefully, I mean, we'll review them because that's kind of what we do here. But I hope you guys, just keep it in mind. Just let them be. If they don't wear a mask, let them be. There's no need to be judgmental. Same the other way around. If I see a person with a mask, I mean, I would say just whatever. Like I'm not. Yeah.
No, like loser.
Yeah. Take it off, Darth Vader. No, I'm just playing. All right, cool. I think that's the last story. And yeah, I mean, I think that's it, right? Did I miss anything else?
I don't think that's it. Just yeah, keep listening on the podcast as well.
Please. And make sure you guys hit the like button. If you don't mind, again, subscribing, leave us a comment down below. And until next time. See ya.